Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Comments Corner. If you're not familiar with this series, we always start with a very short icebreaker. And if you make it past the icebreaker, I'm going to give a lot of value and coaching around the topic that you suggest in the comments. So, the icebreaker for today is: does anyone know a good Windows laptop for video editing and Zoom calls? Mine has been painfully slow. I have a Lenovo Yoga old one, and yeah, I'm looking for a new one, and it keeps looking like Mac is a better option, but I really like Windows. So let me know what you think. Okay, now that the icebreaker is over, let's get into today's comment. I really like this comment. I haven't talked about this topic in a long, almost ever. So we'll read it and then we'll talk about it. Hey bro, you need to talk about what you do for your abs and serratus anterior. You have a very developed core. How nice of you. How nice of you. Thank you so much for saying that. Usually I've only done coaching around movement skills, handstand, front lever, planches, etc. because I think the function is more important than the look. But every once in a while someone asks about the look and I will talk about that. So how we're gonna break it is I'm gonna talk about my own journey since you asked about that. Then I'm gonna talk about the three main mechanisms that you need to be thinking about if you want to achieve a similar transformation. And then I'm gonna talk about, this is the coaching part, the practical way to get there and maintain it for several years without feeling like effort. This is the most important part. So, quick recap on my own transformation. So, I used to look like this in my early adult life. I don't have a lot of pictures because I used to delete them. And one day I was going back to Lebanon after not having been there for around 3 years due to immigration stuff. And my sister saw me and said, "Oh, I didn't know you have a big belly now." And it hurt me enough to motivate myself to, you know, burn some of that stuff off. We'll talk about this. And it motivated me to initially get into it, but that's not what kept me there. So we'll talk about that. Now, what are the three main mechanisms you need to worry about? And the third one is, I don't see it talked about, and it's the most important one. So first, we all have abs, and they're hidden by a layer of fat. And you need to burn that layer of fat so you can see the abs that are underneath. And usually this is through losing weight. I say usually because there's another way I'll talk about in a bit for a specific type of person, but usually it's through losing weight. And I think you all know this, but I will say it. You can't specifically say, I want to lose weight from that specific area. The area your body chooses to lose weight from is mostly genetic, so you just have to lose weight. And some people lose a little bit of weight and they can see the abs. Some people have to lose a lot of weight so you can see the abs. I'll show an intermediate picture of me in between the two stages so you can see where the final weight was for your educational pleasure. So usually it's losing weight, you lose some of the fat, you can see the abs. I did not have to do that. I'll talk about why. My weight was never the issue. I've helped people through that, but I did not personally have to do that. Then there's another mechanism, which is hypertrophying the abs. This is all the people who give you ab exercises that are not endurance or cardio, that are actually ab hypertrophy. Now, the argument here, people will reference people like Eddie Hall, who have a high amount of fat, relatively speaking, but still the abs will poke through because they are so developed through hypertrophying the abs. Also, I did some of that, but not a lot of that. It was mostly the third thing. The third thing, some people talk about it, but I don't think it's emphasized in the same way we're going to talk about today, which is recomposition. So for the same weight, and this is the key part, for the same weight, you might have a lot of fat and you're thinking, I need to lose weight to burn that fat. But if you gain muscle, not in the abs, literally everywhere else, while staying the same weight, whatever energy would have been stored into fat for that same weight would be stored into muscle. So like for my journey in this image, this image, this image, if anything, throughout each one, I gained total weight a little bit, not a lot. But it looks like I lost weight because the proportion of fat was recompositioned into muscle. And I kind of did a thing, I never like to use AI, but I asked ChatGPT like, hey, what's the average weight for someone who's this height? And what are two possible options for that exact weight, exact height, depending on body composition? And these are the images that were presented. So this is important when people say how to get abs and they show you endurance abs exercises. That doesn't help at all. You either lose weight through eating less, you might think exercise, but actually eating less matters more, or you recomposition through exercise, or you really hypertrophy a lot like Eddie Hall. So these are the three mechanisms. Now, for me, it was recomposition. But the practical way to be able to do that and keep that for many years, you see me post almost every day on Instagram, on YouTube, year after year after year, and I've been able to maintain that, is through what I call, and please take this seriously, identity transformation. People hear that and think, oh, it's mumbo jumbo, I don't know, this mindset stuff. But what do I mean by it? It is not woo-woo, it is actually technical. I used to be this person on Instagram who posts selfies with a beer, with a bar, whatever. I don't even, I will try to find some photos. I'm just saying that before I even look at the photos. And then I started doing partner acrobatics. And slowly, it kind of became my identity. Everyone started thinking like, oh, it's a partner acro guy. Everything on Instagram was partner acrobatics. Then I started doing handstands. And everyone's like, oh, it's the handstand guy. So people think, oh, if I had abs, I would look so cool because having abs makes me look like I do cool stuff. But that's not how you think about it. Do cool stuff so that you have the abs, not have abs so you look like you do cool stuff. So you have to identity transform into someone who sees themselves as, oh, I do cool stuff. I do handstands, I do pull-ups, I do whatever. Now, also specifically, you asked about abs and serratus anterior. So to be very specific, pull-ups are a great exercise for abs. I also sometimes use a specific ab routine, but I haven't used it in a while. I talk about it in another video. And for serratus anterior, literally handstands. Just handstands, handstand variations, but understand the handstands. Don't just jump into it. Control it, manipulate it, press into it. I'll make a video and, or maybe I'll find some videos I'll put in there. Okay, that is all for today. If you are looking for some coaching options, I have many formats, large groups, small groups, cohorts, one-on-one. Comment and I'll reach out to you. Okay, thanks.